You let me violate you.
And now we're looking at the 1979 film Hanover Street. So during the Second World War, an American pilot stationed in England, Harrison Ford, meets a young British nurse during an air raid in London, and that's Lesley-Anne Down. The two instantly fall in love given the situation in the midst of war, despite the fact that the young nurse is already married, a secret which she keeps hidden from her American lover. After being shot down behind enemy lines while being assigned to ferry a British agent into France, the American pilot, Harrison Ford, realises that his secret agent cargo is in fact his lover's husband, and that the two must now work together in order to survive. So starring Harrison Ford, Lesley-Anne Down and Christopher Plummer, Hanover Street was written and directed by Peter Hyams, who later gave us films such as Time Cop, The Presidio and End of Days. So, my mother actually gave me this DVD to watch a while ago and said, watch this. It's because I have a thing for Harrison Ford. I've always had a really big thing for Harrison Ford. And so he made this film after doing Star Wars. He'd done Star Wars and then he did Hanover Street and then I think Guns of Navarone.
Right.
Yeah, and then he went on to do Star Wars 2 and Indiana Jones, kind of interlocking. So this was one of his little kind of in-betweeny films when he wasn't, you know, really big. He'd just done Han Solo. And so the film for me was very of 1979, very of the era with this kind of synthesized music. Like as I watch it, you know, and I do think Harrison Ford's hot in the film. It's very kind of like wispy and very there's this real yearning in the film throughout the film, and so it's not like this. I don't think it's a fantastic film, but I do enjoy it, but I can't help still in this, I don't think it's aged well. Like, as you watch it, I do laugh a lot, even though it's not a comedy, because there's moments in it which just scream out like this pious love, you know, that just scream out for laughter, I think, these days more so than, you know, than to be taken seriously. Maybe if I was a big Mills and Boon reader, like I read a lot of those books, I really, really enjoy this film because it's kind of like, it is like Mills and Boon on the screen for me. But yeah, I'm like, what did you? I'd love to see what a guy thinks of it. Because I thought it was Harrison Ford, I'll love it at the guys, and like then Christopher Plummer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, I have to say that, like you saying that your mother gave this to totally makes sense to me, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my god, I'm watching a midday movie at my grandfather's house.
It's a midday movie.
Yeah, it's
perfect description of it.
Yeah, like the score, like the opening score and the font is just like
the font.
Yeah, I already knew what I was getting for. It is, yeah, the font is like Mills and Boon font.
Absolutely.
And also, yeah, there are moments of such ridiculousness in this film that they're epic. You know, I don't think I'm going to forget, you know, some
Lesley-Anne Down's kind of dewy-eyed looks.
Yeah.
You know, I love you.
Yeah.
I can never forget you.
Yeah. Yeah. While the composer pours treacle all over it, you know.
Do you know what I have this vision of? If you can hear, if Gers would be so kind as to add a little bit of the soundtrack in right now.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we'll put a bit of soundtrack over. Okay, so hopefully Gers has added that in. Like we're making him work for it.
Yeah.
You can hear that, like it seemed to me at that time that this was the era when they discovered, like they made those little keyboards, you know, at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, and they made those little kind of keyboards with all the sound effects, where you could like, you know, you could make the keyboard sound like a piano or sound like violins, you know. So you could do a whole score just off this little electronic keyboard, and that's why I reckon someone did the music for it.
Yeah,
because it sounds like synthesized violins, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
Like, so when I was watching it, I just imagined the composer sitting behind this little like keyboard in the 80s.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the story itself, before we get too lost in
it. Sorry, we're being very facetious, aren't we?
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think the story, you know, is interesting.
Well, my problem is that
Margaret,
Maggie. Yeah. Her, you know, sort of turning her back on Christopher Plummer, like her husband, for Harrison Ford, just makes her unsympathetic straight away. There's nothing wrong with Christopher Plummer. Like, he's, you know, I guess he's a bit of a ball, perhaps.
Yeah, okay.
But apart from that, he seems to be a great guy.
He's a lovely, lovely man.
You know, and so yeah, I find
it is Harrison Ford, though.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, to some extent, I understand that.
I'm sorry. Within the story, you're right. Sorry,
yeah,
I digress.
It's just a thing of like, well, you know, have a talk to your husband about it, I guess. Don't cheat. Like, I think, again, this is probably more Mills and Boon kind of stuff again, but to me, it's just completely unethical, you know.
But, like, you wonder, though, like you say that, though, I mean, really, would you, if you said that, would you have a story? You know what I mean? Like, if she didn't do that, you wouldn't have a story. Yeah,
but it then brings some other elements into it to, you know, to make that a less... a more understandable choice.
Okay, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, that if he had been an asshole,
yeah, exactly,
it would have been easier to understand it. Yeah, I mean, they say, you know, I think in the very kind of Mills and Boon-esque description of the film, the tag, that it's something like, it was a time of war, you know, and at the beginning of the film, it's one of those films where they have scrolling text. Which is really, and when I was reading them, when you were talking about the font, when the scrolling text comes up, there's a lot of sentences that end in ... Yeah. Have you noticed that? Like, I was reading it going, holy hell, who wrote this? Because there's so much, you know, they met ... They fell in love ... and it's kind of going up, you know, and I think that's, you know, within the...
It's like a pause. You know? A dramatic pause, yeah.
But I did throw this. I threw this film into be reviewed, and I threw it at Fabs, knowing what could potentially come of it.
Yeah, no, I'm actually grateful that you did, because this is the kind of film that I relish reviewing. Because, you know, I mean, unlike something like Twilight, for example, where you just feel like you're wading through a cesspool of crap, and you can't hit like a solid target in terms of criticising it. This has very definite points that I can just go, that's ridiculous, that's ridiculous. Yeah, so...
It was OTT, wasn't it? I think it was just, you know, I mean, but in that era, in the late 70s, and the type of film that it was, it probably sat quite well.
Yeah,
I'm
sure it did.
Very dreamy, like Mills and Boon romantic. But yeah, now it hasn't aged well at all. And like Harrison Ford, I'm sorry. I'd still marry you, but...
and yeah, I also just have to say that there is one character who's the kind of comic relief character in Harrison Ford's crew of pilots, who I find unbelievably irritating.
Oh yeah, he is irritating.
Like, from the very get-go, he's talking about, you know, what a hassle it is to fly, and sort of making these incredibly corny jokes, and I just thought to myself, surely wouldn't they have just fired him or shot him or something? Because he's very irritating.
I think he's supposed to be, though, so maybe it's a bit objective achieved, really.
No, I thought he was meant to be humorous for the time. Thinking of my grandfather, I think I could probably see him having a bit of a cackle about it, but to me,
So, not to... Oh, it might be a spoiler, but so when he died, you were happy?
Yes. If we're discussing that, his death is another ridiculous moment.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Oh, like, are you telling me you don't notice someone... Like, Harrison Ford will literally turn around to look at his co-pilot and say... Because they've just been shot while they're flying, and just... like being in complete shock that his co-pilot has been shot in the face. And it yields the most ridiculous point of the film, I think, and one of the most ridiculous lines of dialogue I've ever heard as well, which he tries to deliver with heart. And it's meant to be a moving moment, and it's just... this review is going to run over time.
But I could do a shout out too, because Patsy Kensit played their daughter.
Yeah.
Played Christopher Plummer and... Lesley-Anne Dowd's daughter in the film, and she was like that very precocious, bratty, like English child. Mummy, you know?
Yeah.
Mummy, can I have a well, you know,
Yeah.
like I thought she was actually really good. I thoroughly enjoyed watching her.
Yeah.
But it was, yeah. But anyway, we have run over. So, but watch it. It's great. I love it. Nail it up. What are you on?
Oh, jeez. I'd give this a 5, I guess.
Oh, that's actually kind.
Yeah, it is kind.
Actually, you know, I'll give it a 5 with you.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Hey,
I have to catch
please
the
don't
bus.
leave like this.
I have to.
I want to see you again.
Can't.
Please, look, I just have a few hours before I have to be back.
Please don't do anything.
Look, we can't stand here. We got to get into a shelter.
I'm very sorry, but I can't. I really.
Why?